welcome to Dadi SOS. I'm Hui-san from Dadi Education. We will provide you the inside scoop of the educational opportunity around the world. Today, we have the special guest from 𝐍𝐞𝐿. So, Mr. James, could you please introduce about yourself and your role in the school?
Okay, so yes, my name is James Ward, and I'm originally from Canada, but I've been living in New Zealand for 20 years. And I've been working for New Zealand Tertiary College for 18 or 19 years. I can't count that much.
Okay, because it's too long. Yeah,
No,
so many years.
It's just my math is
Oh,
bad.
okay.
But no, and I'm I would say that New Zealand Tertiary College changed my life. I was working in other areas of education before I came into the college, and then started to work in early childhood. And early childhood teacher education is such a critical part of any society. So I became really engrossed in what we're doing. And we have students from all over the world, like Daisy, who we were just speaking to, who's originally from Malaysia. But we have also, we have students from all over the world, and many of them are staying in New Zealand, but others are going home. We also have students studying outside of New Zealand. So we feel very much that our mission is to change the world, change early childhood education in the world.
Oh, it sounds very ambitious, and I like it. Yeah. For those may not really familiar about 𝐍𝐞𝐿, could you please introduce a little bit about 𝐍𝐞𝐿? Yeah.
Certainly. So 𝐍𝐞𝐿 was founded as a professional development arm of a chain of early childhood centers back in 1982. And from that date, it started to move into more traditional teacher education sector. So we had, I think our first qualification, which was approved by the then Teacher Registration Board, was in 1991. And so the graduates then of our programs back then became qualified teachers in New Zealand. But nowadays we have undergraduate and postgraduate programs in early childhood, as well as we are working in aged care as well. So we have qualifications in aged care.
Okay. May I know how long is the course of the early childhood education?
Okay, so if we're talking about teacher education, the programs that lead to teacher education, teacher registration, well, Daisy, for example, is doing our 3-year bachelor's degree.
Okay.
But if you're already holding a undergraduate degree, you can either go into our graduate diploma, which is a 52-week program, or you can go into our master's, our new Masters of Teaching and Learning program, which is again 52 weeks. So we have there's different opportunities for students now. And both of those two programs lead to teacher registration.
Okay, just now you mentioned that the teacher are not meet inside the class. Do you mean that you will send the student to the early childhood center so that they can have the practical skill on it? Okay, could you share more about this?
Certainly. Okay. So our model is called center-based learning. And it's approved by the Teaching Council of Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's a very strong model because our students are in early childhood centers from day one. So we don't actually, and we encourage our students to find their own center, because there are many centers all across the city. If we start to place students, then it may not suit them because there are so many centers. If you're living in Glen Innes, like Daisy, she can find a center just around the corner from her, which is easy for her in terms of transport.
Yes.
If you're living in the CBD, the same. If you're living where I live, up on the North Shore, again, lots of centers. And so it's best for a student to find their own center. And we do give them help if they're unable to find a center, but there's such a need for early childhood teachers that we don't find that our students have any need for us to place them, but we do provide that service if necessary. So the student then goes into the center and they get allocated what we call an associate teacher who's going to be their mentor for the time for the length of their program. We have a connection with that teacher, and what we do is support that teacher through payment, and we present the courses in our learning management system. So our students are working in centers and learning virtually. So they're accessing their courses virtually. And it's a strong model because the students are then, from day one, learning what it's like to be an early childhood teacher, which is not an easy profession. And at the same time, they're applying what they're doing in their center to their coursework, and vice versa. They're learning more about theory and practice in our coursework, and they're bringing that into their center. So it's a good symbiotic relationship where we're helping improve centers, and they're helping us, educate teachers.
Okay, got it. Okay, one more question,
Yes.
right? I found it's very curious.
Yeah.
Okay, as a student, right, we all hate exam, right? Okay, I just wanted to know that how do you how do you know that the student is really qualified to be the teacher? Do you have do you guys offer any exam for it, so that when the student pass the exam, that means that they are qualified to be the teacher?
Okay, so I was just talking about this topic this morning with our operations manager. And so I don't think exams are a good way to evaluate whether you're going to be a good teacher or not.
Got it.
All it's going to be is you either can write a good essay or you can answer questions, but that has nothing at all to do with working with young children on the mat. And so we don't do exams per se. Every student so we have intakes every week. So we all could be starting in the same month, but we're all in different intakes, and so we'll start and end our courses at different times, which gives us the ultimate flexibility, and the assessments are all uploaded and then marked by our lecturers through our learning management system. So it works differently, but it's not an exam-based model, and we strongly don't believe in exam-based models, because it has to be whatever we're testing our students on. It has to involve practice. So that's one area of our assessment. The other area of assessment is what we call practicum. So there are, for instance, in Lily's course, in her program of study, she has 120 days of practicum. So she has 40 days a year where she's working full-time in her center, and she's then assessed by one of our lecturers on what she's actually doing, her teaching, and her practical knowledge. And that's really a critical aspect of teacher education. That's what we strongly believe in, and that's what we're increasingly focusing on.
Okay, got it. Okay, for those like international students, because normally they will work at the early childhood center, right? What if they meet any problem, they need someone to help them to solve it? Do you guys provide any support service for them?
Yes, we do. We've got a student support team. So the student support team runs an induction, an orientation for all international students prior to them even coming into the country, or prior to the start of their program. They also, all students, international and domestic, do a course to prepare them for their studies. And so we can really see if they are prepared or not. And then in the first week of them starting their program, that team phones everybody up, domestic and international. They phone them up and they say, okay, are you settled in your center? Do you have access to the systems? How's everything going? And then we follow that up with further contact to ensure that everyone is doing well. And of course, we also contact their associate teacher in the center because we want to understand how well they've integrated into the center. So I think that we are misunderstood to some degree around student support because, well, I had a young woman come in with her husband and she was talking to me about, and of course, we're not overflowing with students, so it's not obvious how big we are and what we actually provide. So she had just come into the country. She had found a center close to where she was living. Her next door neighbor had a young child in that center. And so she had gone with that young child into the center and and she found an associate teacher and she was very pleased with all of that. And I said to her, well, you've done exactly what we would expect from a successful student, because the relationships that she's creating are the relationships that are going to bring her success in our program and bring her success in terms of finding a job. Because if the children in the center like her and she does well and she's able to work with children on the mat, we of course will support her in her other studies, but she has done exactly the right thing. So that's when I think about students coming onto campus and we meet and like that is not what's going to necessarily make those students successful. The relationships they make with early childhood centers, that's what's going to make them successful.
Okay, sounds like it's very good. It sounds, because I like kids also. I love kids so much. It's made me feel like, okay, I want to study here. I love kids so much.
Yes.
Okay, for those students, at first they want to start. They want to study this course.
Yes.
But maybe at the middle of the time they find out like they're more towards like a culinary course. Can they withdraw it and study another course of it?
There's all kinds of rules and around that. So it just depends on what program that they've signed up for. So for instance, Daisy's in a 3-year program. So she pays 1 year at a time. If after 2 years of study she decides to go and study something else, well, she hasn't paid us any money for that 3rd year, and she obviously can go and do that. But just to say, like early childhood education is a passion. We rarely see people jumping out of our programs and going to study something else. It's a passion, it's a community.
It's a passion, right?
And and it's a real community. People, like, there aren't very many occupations that I know of where you as a student can walk into a workplace and go, hey, I want to, intern with you essentially and be a student with you, and you're accepted immediately and embraced as such. So, I mean, it's not for everyone, but at the same time, it's not something that that people tend to jump out of. To move from early childhood to culinary, it doesn't generally happen. The other factor is that there's a lot of pain to get into the program. So, there's English language, there's police vetting, there's all kinds of things that you have to meet to get into an early childhood program. So why would you do all of that to then jump out and do, if you wanted to go into culinary, just go, because it's so much easier to get into.
Yeah.
We like all those strict measures for entry, because it really means that those students are committed. Now, there's always a percentage of students who maybe in the end are not committed and maybe doing it for residency reasons or other reasons, but in general, going through all that pain of gathering evidence and going through interviews and all the rest of it, it's rare that we see students jumping out of the program.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And it's a passion. It's a passion for our students, and it's a very passionate industry.
Okay, got it. Okay, before we wrap up the podcast, right?
Yes.
If you could describe the campus in 3 words, what would it be and why?
I would say it's a welcoming space. It's well decorated.
Oh yeah, agree.
And and it's representative of us as NZTC. So if you look, you can see our history, you can see our work in China, you can see our commitment to biculturalism, to Te Whariki, which is the bicultural document, and you can see the Pacifica art, Maori. This is who we are, and I think that when it was decorated, there was really a thought to the campus representing us and our nature and who we are. And so that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you, James. Okay, that's all for our podcast. If you like this video, remember share and subscribe us. We see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. I look to welcoming you into New Zealand and New Zealand Tertiary College. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.